That's pretty good for me, isn't it?
I know.
So maybe next time I'm doing streams. Hello, everybody. Maybe next time I'll be able to get it started on the hour. You never know. Having done a certain amount of troubleshooting. This says live, so if I click on this, I should be able to hear myself. I should be able to hear myself. Oh, why can't I hear myself? Part 4. I'm looking at myself on my PC. Why? Now that's strange. Can you hear me? Sarah on the sofa there in the background. Yeah, you can hear me. That's me. Why can't I hear? Well, I'm obviously streaming to the world, even if I can't see it on my own PC. If it's getting across my living room, I'm going to assume it's getting to the entire world. So hello, hello. Let us crack on. Even though it's not working here, that's griefing me just the tiniest bit. Let us crack on with Edge of Eternities. Now, housekeeping. I think maybe we've got some housekeeping. I thought of something I might like to say about this card here. We'll go in the shop. We will scroll down if it ever loads in. We'll scroll down a bunch. We'll get to the pack. Because I thought of a couple of things I might like to say about Night's Whisper. Eh? Oh, Ravnica. Yeah, of course. Not Ravnica, Edge of Eternity. Because when the last time, the pack used to be not at the top and it used to confuse me. But it's back at the top now. Everything's fine. Night's Whisper. Yes, we found this, didn't we? And we immediately went excited about it and said it was the chase card of the set. Now, this is definitely the best card I've seen in the set so far. And I think it's a really good card. I have 2 things I want to say about it. Number 1 is that I don't think people are going to like it because it's going to eat life off them. And I think they're probably wrong to not like it because they're going to eat life of them. It hadn't really sunk in at the time that it might draw itself and that would compound the life loss. So a Night's Whisper could draw into another one. That's 40 life. That's quite a lot. I can deal with 40 life. A Night's Whisper might draw into a Night's Whisper and draw into a Night's Whisper. That's 60. I'm starting to get concerned about 60. Yeah, I've got 129 life, let's say. I'm not playing anybody with 100 life anymore. That's just not a thing that happens with the way that Standard is at the moment. 60 is a bit concerning. 80 is certainly a very concerning amount of damage to take, isn't it? Should all 4 of them pop out. But here's the thing. You're only going to get 4 with 40 cards in the deck, aren't you? So it's going to be really unlikely that you'll get 4 of them. It's going to be quite unlikely that you get 3 of them, all in a row, I mean. But I think you can quite happily deal with that, to be perfectly honest. Given that, you know, the trade-off for just happening to have drawn all 4 of the Night's Whispers that are in the top 40 cards of your deck is getting the next 5 cards in your hand all full of mana and gaining 20 loyalty. I suppose you're not going to get 5 cards, are you? Because you're going to leave some cards in your hand, probably, aren't you? You're not just going to throw literally all of your hand away in order to draw it. But like I say, the important thing for me is you're not going to draw Night's Whisper number 5. You're not going to draw enough to kill you until after you've actually replenished your deck. So, yeah, so people aren't going to like Night's Whisper because it deals you damage. Sometimes it's going to deal you a bit more damage than maybe I was taking on board in the first case. But I'm not sure that's really a concern. Still very much thinking this is the best card in the set so far and potentially in the entire set. However, there is a however, and I'm not sure I really went all in on this the other day. It doesn't play nicely, in my opinion, with Mystical Teachings. Because certainly the way I play Mystical Teachings is that I want Mystical Teachings to get the two specific cards that I want. I play with Golden Wish, I play with Requisition Raid. So I'm not going to throw this third one in myself as a randomizer. So, you know, I might get the thing that I definitely want, or I might just get two completely random cards in my hand full of mana. So I'm not convinced it plays nicely with Mystical Teachings. Now, there's going to be people out there who are playing with multiple spells and Mystical Teachings, which I can see myself doing, but for some reason have never got around to, because I'm just so happy always getting the two specific spells out of my deck. But again, I feel like it's probably still too much of a randomizer, you know? Playing your Mystical Teachings, getting a Night's Whisper, and instead of a thing that you selected to have from a choice of two, it's just ripping two random cards off the top of your deck. And then when you couple that in with the fact that everything that I said earlier about the fact that, like, you're not going to draw your fifth one of these until you've drawn 40 cards. I mean, that's kind of, if you're fetching extra copies from down the bottom of your deck, that might not even be true with Mystical Teachings. I feel this doesn't play nice with Mystical Teachings. So, this is not your chase card. Your chase card, people, is Mystical Teachings from a few sets ago. If you haven't got that, go and get that one instead of this. If all you're doing is building a Loop Hero deck, this is a very good pack, isn't it? Because it's got Night's Whisper, which is a Loop Hero card. Quantum Riddler, which is a Loop Hero card. Remember, Loop Hero cards are cards that they will fetch the next card in your deck and immediately pay for it, which is exactly what Whisper does, exactly what Quantum Riddler does. So there are two of them in this deck. Good one for that combo deck. But, yeah, if you're just looking for a new card to play with that you haven't got yet, and you haven't got Mystical Teachings, then go after that one and not this one. Okay? That's what I wanted to say there. Let us crack on with the rest of the set. I have been informed by my tireless research team that we got as far as Mecha Navigator last time. So let's go card name, EOE, skip through to the middle of the set somewhere. There's Night's Whisper. Oh, we only saw that in the pack, didn't we? We didn't actually get that far in the... Oh, yeah, I remember. It was all the bloody jellyfish, wasn't it? Mecha Navigator, jellyfish. Yeah, you see, that with colours, that had colours of magic things going on, didn't it? So apparently, is this another jellyfish? Oh no, these aren't jellyfish, these are robots. What am I thinking? They were blue, that's why I thought they were jellyfish. Maybe it's a jellyfish inside. That looks a bit jellyfishy inside the suit, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Who knows? Mech and Shield, mate, let's crack on. When this creature enters the battlefield, your opponent's first creature gains can't block this turn. Well, he can't anyway. 5 mana for a 3/2, that's slightly above the curve, isn't that? That's better than Orchard Spirit. That puts firmly this into mid-low shit tier. Well done. Congratulations for getting all the way above the absolute worst cards in the game. In fact, maybe it gets to high-low shit tier. Low shit tier is pretty bad. Maybe low-high mid. Low, high, low shit tier. Yeah, there you go. That's where that goes. Mechanozoa. This is a jellyfish. Yes, it is. 12 mana 5/5. Okay. Again, you know, we're at the high end of low shit tier at the moment. In fact, we've probably made it to the low end of mid shit tier. When this creature enters the battlefield, disable target creature until the beginning of your next turn. Yeah, that's definitely mid shit tier. That's well out of low shit tier, that one. 12 mana for a 5/5. I mean, it's not giving it stun counter, is it? That's the thing, you know. So we're not locking anything down with a card that only locks things down for a single turn. So not very good. They could have put some stun counter on that, couldn't they? Yeah, they could. Melded Moxite. When this support enters the board, you may discard a card. If you do draw 2 cards, activate 1 robot. Rubbish. Mount Strider Eulogist. When a buffed creature you control dies, draw a card. Needlessly pointless and rubbish. Mount Strider's Gear. I mean, not that complicated, but still, they've still managed to overcomplicate a card which only has a few words of text on it. That's quite impressive. At the beginning of your turn, your first creature gets +2/+2 and reach. Oh, it's icy. It's an equipment. It's rubbish. Melt Strider's Resolve. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, your first creature fights the first opposing creature. No, because it doesn't get any bigger, does it? We'd like it to get a lot bigger if it was going to do that every turn. At the beginning of the combat on your turn, your other creatures get +3/+0. So this is a 14 mana 4/3. It doesn't pump itself up. Then you may have your first other creature gain Berserker. Right, so it's just a poor way of killing things, isn't it? Warp 5, doing the thing. Don't like it. Memorial Vault. When an artifact support you control is destroyed or loses a reinforcement, draw a card, it gains 4 mana. Absolutely not good enough. It's obviously for playing with tokens, isn't it? But, I mean, you can't make it too good then, can you? That's the thing. I mean, Oko's throwing gold tokens out on the board. Hell to Pay's throwing gold tokens out on the board, you know. So obviously you can't have all of these cards be full of mana when they get removed. But I think draw a card and gaining 4 mana is not good enough. Isn't it? No, I don't think it is. Mental Modulation. The first card in your hand gains 2 mana. That's not a lot. Then disable the first opposing creature until the beginning of your next turn. Yeah, they've forgotten about stun counter, haven't they? There's a place for disabling creatures in the game these days because people like it. You know, my friend Madren, he really likes disabling things for ages rather than killing them. I've always been more partial to killing things, but you know, if you can stun a Gelter for several turns, it stops the next Gelter coming into play doing anything. So get back with the stun counters, please, Webcore. Just for a single turn, it's not good enough. Meteor Crater. We've seen this in one of the packs, haven't we? That's the long form land. Might Form Harmonizer. Have we seen this? I feel like we have. This creature has +4/+4 and +4/+4 for each of its reinforcements. For a landfall. I guess it's quite large. +4/+4 for each of its reinforcements. I mean, where are those reinforcements coming from? It's not getting super huge. It's not getting super huge in the way that, you know, your Titan's Vanguard is. All of those things that we're playing to deal lots of damage in Planar Chaos, your Titan's Vanguard and your Dollmaker's Shop and your Temets. He's not getting really big all on his own, is he? You've got to kind of push him to make him really, really big. So he ends up being, I don't know, maybe kind of the low end of high shit tier, to be perfectly honest. Your first creature gets +8/+8. I mean, maybe that's better. Maybe the Warp 6 is better than actually playing him. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can go into high shit tier, but still shit tier. On the right hand. I've said that before. I remember myself saying that. We must have seen this. At the beginning of your turn, draw a card. Then your first artifact card in your hand gains X mana. X is the number of artifact cards in your hand. I'm sure we've seen this. Don't like it. So how come this is this is a legendary, but this is and he's only uncommon. He's still legendary. It's the same guy. But this is a tiny little weenie one. When an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, your first other creature gets +1/+1, and it can only trigger 4 times a turn. I mean, why is it other creature? Why can't he get +1/+1 when it enters the battlefield? That would be nicer, wouldn't it? Don't like it. Not sure anyone else will either. Molecular Modifier. At the beginning of combat on your turn, a random creature, that is terrible. Monoist Circuit Feeder. When this creature attacks, okay, 15 mana 4/4, fairly small for those stats. Your first creature gets +X/+0 until end of turn. Then the first opposing creature gets 0 minus X until the end of turn. X is the number of artifacts you control. I notice it's without the reinforcements. So stacks of Thopter tokens won't do it. It kills a thing, it makes itself larger, it kills a thing. I don't care. Is it good enough to play in Colours of Magic? No. No, I don't think it is. Monoist Sentry, yeah, whatever. Moonlit Meditation. When you make a blue 5 match by swap, that doesn't seem particularly like. It has to be by swap as well, so even if you were playing with some lands early on, the chance of that land, like, you know, Sunken Citadel or whatever, leaving a 5 swap on the board for you to match by swap seems low. Create a copy of a random non-token card you control in play. Right, so I mean, you can't even put your Galta in there and know that it's going to be your Galta, because it might be something else. You know what it might be? It might be a Moonlit Meditation. Yeah, there's nothing to stop it doing itself, is it? So after all that, getting the 5 match by swap, which is non-trivial, by swap, there's a good chance it's just going to copy itself and achieve nothing at all. Don't like it at all. Do some work on it. Make it different and better. Mouth of the Storm. What have we got? This is one of those mid-shit tier creatures we've seen plenty of, haven't we? 15 mana, 6/6. When this creature enters the battlefield, opposing creatures get 2 -3. Do you think that's +2 -3 or -2 -3? You'd assume it's -2 -3, wouldn't you? But it's still not good enough to actually kill anything, and it only lasts a turn. So very kind of low mid-shit tier. Maybe it doesn't even make it into mid-shit tier. Mutinous Massacre. Destroy all creatures with base cost 11 or less. Now there's a problem here, isn't there? Then gain control of each opposing creature until end of turn. Oh, well, that problem's just been solved. These cards gain haste until end of turn. The problem, of course, is if you were only going to kill things with base cost 11 or less, then when you were playing Colours of Magic, it would leave all kinds of things in play. And it would also leave in the kinds of things in play that people tend to play who don't care about the objectives, you know. People who do care about the objectives also play with larger creatures. But you're more likely to get Galtas and things from people who don't care about the objectives because they're playing with mythics. However, this does just let you gain control of all of those. So you're destroying all the stuff that actually gets played in one match in Colours of Magic. And you're gaining control of everything else. And then those things get haste. That's okay, isn't it? It is 2 swaps and not just 1 swap. I have been playing with, can't even remember what it's called, in Colours of Magic. I have been playing with, obviously I've been playing with No Witnesses. Is that still in the set, or is that rotated out? That might have rotated out, you know. Well, and that's a board sweep that costs 1 swap. I have, however, been playing with another board sweep that costs more than 11 mana, just because I wanted to, because I'm playing with Quintorius Cand. I'm not playing a fair game. I'm cheaping the game with Quintorius Cand's loyalty abilities. So I quite like just playing with big sweeps that keep resetting the board. And I ended up playing with one that cost 11 mana, and I didn't mind. So maybe this is okay at 20 mana as well for Colours of Magic. It's certainly worth testing, isn't it? Yeah? Destroying all creatures with base cost 11 or less. I mean, it doesn't deal with... Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Enduring Innocence, you know, if you're going to kill one of those, it leaves its support on the board. But then that's good for you, isn't it? Because you want to leave your own Enduring Innocence support on the board. So this is certainly worth testing in Colours of Magic, I think. Because the large effect, it is going to deal with all of your opponent's creatures, whether it's killing them or whether it's sucking them onto your side of the battlefield. That's a large enough effect to wait for 2 swaps in Colours of Magic. Is this worth playing with outside of Colours of Magic? You would think not, wouldn't you? I mean, obviously not. Obviously not when you can play Requisition Raid. There are levels where you can only play rares. Play Control only lets you play rares, doesn't it? I guess it's worth a look at. I guess there might be some levels where it's worth a look playing with this. There are better one-sided sweeps than this. Because of course you want to steal a Galter and have it gain haste. That is definitely a thing you want to do. You never really count on your opponent having something large worth stealing in play. So you might want to. Maybe you just want to wander into Training Ground assuming that everyone's playing with Galters and Rakdoses, because they probably are, to tell you the truth. And then you can steal them and you might have some fun with them. I don't mind this card. It's okay. It has uses. It might have some extra uses elsewhere. I don't mind it. It's pretty good. Nanoform Sentinel. When this creature attacks, a random creature you control gains Vigilance. Not very exciting. Nebula Dragon. When this creature enters the battlefield, deal 3 damage to target creature for 13 mana. It's rubbish. There's your Night's Whisper, which we've seen. Nova Hellkite. Right, you've got a little something on your nose there, mate. Just a little something that you want to watch that. When this creature enters the battlefield, that's better than dealing 3 damage to something. But then that's what you've got to do, apparently, isn't it? Make the commons unplayable, so that you can print some probably also unplayable mythics as well. Because look at this: when this creature enters the battlefield, deal 10 damage to the first opposing creature with the greatest power. I mean, that's a lot more powerful than this, and yet still manages to be shite, doesn't it? You know, clearly high shit tier, yes, but you know, do we care? Do we care about this when we could be playing Rakdos? Of course we don't. And a warp does, yes, the warp is pretty bad anyway. There are levels when you need to deal damage to things, but you know, we're not playing with this. We're playing with things that will let you deal damage to your own creatures, probably in those types of levels for coalition events where where dealing damage to things is important and you care about it. Yeah, we don't like it. High shit tier, very, very high shit tier. Because, you know, it comes into play in 7/8 and haste and kills the thing. Very high shit tier. I don't think it makes it all the way to mid. I don't think it does. Oh, my standards are high, aren't they? Nutrient Block. When this support enters the board, draw a card. When it's destroyed, gain 3 life. Very uninteresting. Orbital Plunge. 6 damage to the first opposing creature and then create a land or token. Rubbish. Ore Plate Pangolin. When another artifact card enters play, this creature gets +1/+0. This effect can trigger up to 6 times per turn. They've just written that on to make us think they thought about this. They didn't think about this card. In fact, that's so specific. The 6 times per turn is so specific, it makes me think that ChatGPT designed the card. Organic Extinction. Here's a masterpiece. They're always good, aren't they? Nope. At the beginning of your turn, if this card is in your hand, reduce its cost by X. So it's 17 mana. It's get reduced by X until end of turn. X is the number of artifact cards you control, including their reinforcements. Destroy all non-artifact creatures. I mean, that's most things, isn't it? Destroying all non-artifact... Oh, wait a second. It's only creatures. No, I was giving it some thought there because I thought it was going to destroy non-artifacts. You know? So my brain was thinking... This is where I'd gotten. My brain had got to the fact of what artifacts is it not going to destroy? It's not going to destroy a Chimil. But it's also not going to destroy literally any other support, because it only kills creatures. And then, therefore, as a result, why would you play with a 2-sided sweep? I mean, okay, right, you could call it a 1-sided sweep, but then only if you're playing with artifact creatures. What are some really, really brilliant artifact creatures to be playing with at the moment? I'm not sure there are any. don't see a use case for this. Don't see a use case for it. I don't know, but I don't. Obviously go and get Requisition Raid. A Robberoid. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, increase this card's level by 2. Oh, it's a level card. That means it's going to be shit, isn't it? Then your creatures get +X. X is this card's level. Okay, it sounds a bit high shit tier-y. So what have we got? We've got a 1/3 that then instantly becomes +3, a 4/6. So it's a 1/3, it immediately becomes a 4/6 with reach. So there's a good chance it's going to drop dead then. But then supposing it doesn't drop dead as a 4/6, it's then going to become a 9/11. Oh, I always like 9/11 creatures. They're good, aren't they? That always makes me smile. Sorry. A 9/11. So, yeah, even that doesn't seem too big, does it? The 4/6 seems like it's going to die. The 9/11 seems like it's going to die. It is pumping up all of your creatures. But again, I don't think it's good enough to bust this card into mid-tier, to be perfectly honest. It's very high shit tier. Fairly high shit tier. But I don't think it's good enough to get into mid. Pain for all. Oh, well, okay, if you insist. When this support enters the board, he looks very happy about it as well, doesn't he? What type of thing is that? What type of creature even is that? I don't know. Some kind of alien thingy. When this support enters the board, it's going to deal damage, isn't it? Deal X damage to a random opposing creature. Oh, well, why not all of them? X is equal to the base power of your first creature, so nothing if you have no creatures. X damage to a random opposing creature. X is equal to the base power of your first creature. So you pretty much want to be ahead of your opponent anyway. Even before you've played this, you already want to have a creature in play that's bigger than their first creature. It's a random opposing creature. You don't even know which one it's going to hit. But, you know, if they've got a lot of creatures, you're not doing very well anyway. And if you're playing this card, that's probably one reason you're not doing very well. There's more. Right, so this was when the support enters the board, so that only triggers once. But then you've got, when a creature you control is dealt damage. Right, well that doesn't happen a lot either, does it? Because blocking doesn't happen a whole lot. Maybe if you've got an Robberoid in play. Oops, lost my place there. We're down for Pain for All, there we go. So it's not happening a lot when a creature you control is dealt damage. Deal Y damage to your opponent. Why is the damage dealt that way? I mean, that's poo, isn't it? Is that not poo? That card seems poo to me. Yeah, that's my considered review. Poo. Pain for... They should have given it an acronym that was poo. Pain on... One. No, that doesn't quite work, does it? Have a think about that. We'll rename that card something so that the acronym is poo, and then it makes more sense to me. Pedigree Beckoner. This looks bad. 14 mana, 2 shield, support. It's a horror. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target gets +4/+0. Right. I mean, that's larger than a lot of equipment, but still terrible. When a creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield under you control, then destroy this support. Okay, so I mean, that's why they've bumped the cost up. We've seen these things before. I don't like them, generally. We've had some things that you can play in Colours of Magic before now. And this one's 14 mana. I'm sure we've had some things that cost 11 or less in Colours of Magic that go, well, when a creature dies, destroy this enchantment instead. Zop it back into play. But at 14 mana, that's definitely not good enough for Colours of Magic, I think. So we skip past that. Pinnacle Emissary. This is the thing, isn't it? No sign of a nerf yet. Pinnacle Emissary combos with Sharp-Eyed Rookie. Yeah, when an artifact support enters the battlefield, create a drone token. And then what Sharp-Eyed Rookie presumably does is it says on it, when you create something like a drone token, do something else. Create a support. That's obviously... Anyway, whatever it does, it creates a loop. Hard to say whether you should chase it. It does really seem like they will nerf this, right? Because I know that... I know they haven't nerfed Ocelot Pride. I put that down to it being difficult to get hold of. The fact that you can go very large, and this isn't... I don't think this is even infinite, because this loop fills up the board with supports and stops. So it's not infinite, but I don't think that matters anyway. I think it creates 2 creatures that are large enough to kill in a single turn. I don't know whether does it create a 60-60 and a 60-60? Or a 120 and a 120? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't even create enough power to be lethal to like a Dakon. But it certainly puts 2 large, very large creatures in play. And the fact that they're both rare cards means it's going to be quite easy to get hold of. Most people will probably find, if they go and look, they've got the other rare card in their inventory already. You could probably, if you're the kind of player who buys boosters, I'm not. I don't think you should buy boosters for new sets. But if you are, you've probably got Pinnacle and Emissary in your set already. So there's going to be a lot of players around with this. But I probably wouldn't say chase it, because it's so easy to get. I think they will probably nerf it. If they don't, we will learn something new about just how much they love combo and how much they want it to be circulating. Because let's not forget, there are plenty of players who think that, Ocelot Pride is fine, and who thought that Danither was fine. There are always players who like combo. So I wouldn't count on it being nerfed, but I also wouldn't chase it in case it is. Unless, of course, you've really got loads of resources burning a hole in your pocket, in which case go wild. You'll notice I've got 10,000 jewels there, crystals there, and I haven't chased it. I did buy 1 pack, which is unusual for me. I bought a premium pack just to see if it turned up. It didn't, and I thought to myself, well, I'm not buying 10 more just to see if it turns up. So if you're wondering what I'm saving all these crystals for, it's Puzzle Masters 3. I don't know if we're going to get Puzzle Masters 3. We definitely wouldn't get it for at least a year if we do. But if you're interested, that's what I'm saving them up for. And if they never make it, I'll blow it all on alt cards. But of course, they'll never say they're never going to make it. And so I'm saving it for Puzzle Masters 3. I thought I was saving it for Puzzle Masters 2, but apparently I have most of Puzzle Masters 2. Should we stop waffling and get on with some new cards? Pinnacle Kill Ship. This is a station 4. When this support enters the board, deal 10 damage to target creature. Right, that's not enough, because my Hidetsugu's Second Right that I like to play with, that costs 14 mana. That's a spell. That does 10 damage to target creature. And this is colourless, but that also deals damage to players as well. This does deal damage. I guess this isn't the worst thing I've seen, because 10 damage is quite a lot. There are levels where you need to deal damage to things, and this will let you shoot your own creatures for objectives, if you need to deal damage to your own things. So I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but I certainly won't be playing with it. And then, of course, we have Station 4, which is just going to do exactly the same thing. It's a 7/7, but Station 4 is too good. Has anyone played with Station yet? Let us know. Sound off in the comments if you've played with Station and you've found it really, really great. What I would say to that is I don't believe you. Pinnacle Star Cage. This was this spoiled, or was this in this? I think this was just in the pack, wasn't it? I think this was one of the cards in the Battles from the Ages pack. When this support enters the board, exile all creatures and supports that cost 11 or less. I mean, this seems like engineered to annoy Colours of Magic players, because, of course, if you want to play fair in Colours of Magic, if you want to stick to the objectives. You can't play it yourself, but other players can play with it to grief you. So it destroys all other creatures and supports. It destroys your own stuff as well. Historically, these things have always been shit, haven't they? Things that have a cut-off point. You know, I always look at these things and say, well, you know, if you're up against a Pajami, for example, he's always throwing token creatures into play and token supports into play, and this will blow up all of those and leave the larger things that you have worth standing. But I never end up playing with anything with a cutoff point because I always just want to kill fucking everything. When this support leaves the board, right, it's got 3 shields, create a robot token and reinforce it. X is a number of different non-land cards in exile. So there's a bit of power there, isn't there? That's a 2/2. You're going to have exiled some things when you played it, because it exiles things. You can, of course, exile things from your hand. It's different non-land cards. It's not necessarily going to be that big then, is it, really? I mean, especially if you're playing this to exile token supports, that's not making the robot any bigger. So that robot's not going to be very large. I think I was talking to Sarah about this the other day. The ceiling for the robot is 20 cards in exile. That's a 40-40 robot. But the chances of them all being non-lands and the chances of you getting all of them is low. It might make a 20-20. It's a 20-20 that doesn't come out anyway until after this thing dies. Doesn't remove itself, which would have been amusing, I suppose. Yeah, it should have done. Should have removed itself. That would have been more amusing. I don't like it. I don't like the fact it's got this cutoff at 11 or less mana. What have we got here? Well, I don't like the first sentence, certainly. Destroy all opposing land cards. That is too narrow. I don't care. I don't care that we've got so many good lands in standard at the moment with your swarm yards and your demolition fields and your deserts and your sunken citadels, because it's just too narrow. Only getting rid of lands, and it is one-sided as well, but only getting rid of lands is just too narrow. Even if your opponent's got a deck full of lands, if he's played a Galter, I'd be sitting looking at this in my hand thinking, I wish this got rid of Dick Galters. Oh, it does. Deal 15 damage to each opposing creature and for each of his reinforced. So it very specifically does get rid of a Galter, because often, as I am wont to remind you all, if you burn a creature in play, one thing that burn doesn't tend to remove is 2 Galters. So Pyroclasm, for example, doesn't get rid of 2 Galters because it only deals 20 damage. But this does! Doesn't matter how many Galters there are on the stack, this burns all of them. So, we are getting rid of all opposing lands and dealing 15 damage to each opposing creature for each of its reinforcements. That's going to kill a stack of Galters. It's obviously going to kill a stack of Rakdoses. Maybe we found an amount of finite damage we like. 15 damage to each creature, including its reinforcements. Maybe that is finally an amount of damage that we like. A finite amount of damage we like to deal. I suppose I could make my own little get-out clause and say that's not a finite amount of damage. But, so the thing it doesn't do, it's a one-sided sweep as well. It does so much. The thing it doesn't kill is non-land support. And as such, am I going to want to be playing this or Chaos Warp? And I mean, I don't know, I'm naturally thinking Chaos Warp. Now, Chaos Warp is tough because, you know, it either kills all creatures or all supports. You can usually rely on it to kill creatures because, of course, you can fetch either a creature or a spell with Chaos Warp in order to kill creatures. But the fact that this just can't kill non-land supports is giving me pause. It's very powerful. It does kill Galters, and I like that. It doesn't even have a then on it. Now watch out for this. Don't put it in your deck and assume it's going to work like it's written, because it might not deal damage to creatures unless it destroys lands. If it said then deal 15 damage, you would have to do one in order to do the other. It might still be coded in that way. So just watch out for it if you're going to play it. It's good. It's a good card. I don't like that it's not killing non-land supports. I mean, I don't play with Chaos Warp anyway. I mean, I do, but I'm not happy about it. Requisition raid or nothing! It is a good card. I can't deny it. It's a good card. Plasma Bolt. Deal 3 damage to the first opposing creature and to your opponent's Planeswalker. Spelt wrong. Obviously garbage. Possibility Technician. Oh, it's a Carvu. That thing that I didn't know what it was before, that was on the Pooh card, that was a Carvu. Yeah? There you go. I know what they are now. He appears to be doing the whole Ripley from Aliens thing with his loader there. When this creature, 3/3 for 8, or another Carvu enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card, it gains 3 mana. I mean, this is basically a Satoru, but for Carvu, isn't it? But humans are a lot more common than Carvu are, because we haven't had any Carvu. Well, there aren't any Carvu in the whole of Standard, surely. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't remember seeing any Carvu in the last X sets. They're a rare creature type in Magic generally, I think. If they were going to be anywhere, we'd have had some in Dominaria. Maybe there was some in Dominaria, but of course that set's rotated out. So, yes, this is basically a Satoru for Carvu. I think Satoru gains 4 mana and not 3 mana. But I think that the key thing's going to be that humans are a lot more populous than Carvu are. So, pull through the weft. Right, this is an expensive green spell. Interesting. Return up to 2 random non-land, non-spell cards from your graveyard to your hand and put no mana in them. Well, that's garbage then, that start bit, isn't it? Up to 2 random non-land and non-spell cards from your graveyard to your hand and put no mana in them. Yeah, that's a garbage sentence. Return the first land support from your graveyard to the board under your control. That's not good enough. Not good enough for 18 mana, is it? Not nearly. Pulsar Squadron Ace. This is going to be crap. When this creature enters the battlefield, pick and fetch. Oh, it's nice that it picks and fetches it. I wonder if they fixed that rare spell. What was that rare spell that only said that it fetched things? I wonder if they've actually fixed that now. Let's go and have a look. It costs 5 mana. No, it didn't. It cost 6 mana. No, they haven't fixed that. Okay, fair enough. I mean, it probably does fetch it. I just wondered if that was a later update that they've made. But this one actually says, as it should, pick and fetch. Where were we? Blah, 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 blah. One of the first 4 cards of your library. Put no mana in it, so we don't care. If that card is a basic card, this creature gets +1/+1. Garbage. Quantum Riddler we've seen. What on earth is going on? Well, I suppose that's what the Quantum Riddle is. See, that made more sense to me. It's just a big flying thing with a mask on. Don't know what the hell that is. But we've seen it. We've reviewed it. It is an insta-mana filler giver. With all that entails. So, pretty good, probably. Radiant Strike. Gain 3 life. Then destroy the first opposing creature. If you can't destroy an opposing artifact support. Yeah, still a 1/1. So, yeah. 1/1's not so good. Again, 2016, this is pretty damn powerful, really. But that was 10 years ago. Ragost, Deft Gastronaut, is... Now, people are complaining that he's not a lobster. I think he's a lobster in paper, but they've removed the lobster type from him. Maybe they're rationalising the creature types a bit. When this creature enters the battlefield or is reinforced, create X food tokens. Well, okay, we've been looking for a way to create a lot of artefacts, and I bet food are artefacts, aren't they? Well, it's not going to tell us. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that food are artifact tokens. Create X food tokens. X is the number of artifact cards you control, including their reinforcements up to 5. Oh, well, that's not good then. Well, that's not going to create a bunch of new ones. It's going to create up to 5 new ones if you have some already, but it's not creating some if you don't have some. If you don't have some already, I think we're basically still just looking at hell to pay, aren't we? When a food card you control leaves the battlefield, deal 3 damage to your opponent, not even to your opponent's creature. It's pretty bad, isn't it? Pretty bad. Rayblade Trooper. Right, hang on. Weren't those top things that you used to spin and you'd add them? And they Beyblades. They were called Beyblades. Yes, this is a Rayblade. They know what they're doing. We know we all used to play with those. When this creature enters the battlefield, target creature control, it's +1/+1. It's not enough. When a non-token creature dies, it's not enough. It's all not enough. It's bad. This is an artifact robot cat. Tiger, red tiger mechan. Warp 3, your first creature gains haste. It's a 6 mana 3/3. That's somewhere near the top of low shit tier, isn't it? A 6 mana 3/3 with haste. Remnant Element. I suppose it's probably better than all of those 14 mana 4/4s and 5/5s that I was insisting on putting at the bottom of mid shit tier before. It makes no sense, the shit tier system at all. Remnant Elemental is rubbish. Requiem Monolith. Is this a land? It's not. When your first creature causes combat damage, draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. Then your opponent loses X life. X is the number of cards in your hand. Right, so we're not putting mana in the cards. We are drawing a lot of cards. Your first creature deals combat damage. Draw 3 cards. Do you know what? I would really like to draw 3 cards when I'm attacking in Colours of Magic. So it's a shame this doesn't cost 11. I mean, it's slow though. Do you know what I mean? Like, the problem with Colours of Magic is often that you can't get anything to stick to the table. So even if this did cost 11, you'd probably want a haste creature to go along with it. Now that's limiting your options to what you can play with. So we're drawing 3 cards, losing 3 life. Then your opponent loses X life. X is the number of cards in your hand, which is, you know, probably 6. Somewhere between 3 and 6, given that you've just drawn 3 cards. It's not really enough, is it? I kind of like having a lot of filtering like that. But no, it's just definitely not powerful enough. Reroute Systems. 2 damage to target opposing creature. Then your first creature gains prevent damage. Absolute rubbish. Rescue Skiff. This is one of those stations. Station 6. When this support enters the board, return the first creature or enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield. Right, now once again there's a potential for it to return itself. But then you don't care if it does, because as soon as it does, it returns the next thing anyway. Okay, so that is not a problem. The fact that it fetches itself is literally 0 problem. So it's a reanimation spell that costs 13, and that's a bit too expensive for a reanimation spell, isn't it? You know? That's really all I've got to say about it. Obviously, Station 6 is just going to do it again. I've done it again. That's the thing I'm supposed to click on. Yeah, it's going to come into play. It gets a creature enchantment. It's just a bit too expensive at 13. And for a bit, maybe probably a lot. This might be one of the best station cards we've seen. I'm sure there are better that I'm forgetting about. But yeah, if it was a lot cheaper, there might be something to that. This is the thing about these station cards, right? They need to do a lot up front, and this card at least does that. Most of the station cards do fuck all up front, and then also fuck all 18 turns later, you know. And this is more how station cards need to be balanced. They need to do a lot up front, and that is a nice powerful effect up front. Too expensive. Anyway, it's not good enough. We move on. Rig of War. Your first creature gets blah and blah and blah. I don't even want it to gain reach. Why do I want it to gain... Hang on! Your first creature gains reach until end of turn. What does that... You pointed... Sarah's already pointed this one out to me. What's the use? It doesn't have flash. There's no point giving it reach until end of turn. Well done, Clive. No notes on your design work there. Roving Actuator. Artifact Robot. 10/3/4. At the end of turn, create a lander token with Void. Yeah, that's absolute garbage. Ruinous Rampage. Exile each artifact card with mana value 5 or less from play. Garbage. Rust Harvester. I mean, artifact. No, it's artifact specifically, isn't it? I was just pondering. You've got to keep an eye out for these Silver Jewel cards, haven't you? But it's artifacts. There is a basic problem with like the Silver Jewel and the Commoner's Cup that it's just there are no sweeps, so it's just difficult to get lots of things out of play. But this is just such a piss poor sweep. Artifacts with mana value 5 or less, that it's going nowhere near anybody's deck. Rust Harvester. Okay, yeah, I'm getting it's I mean, why would you? This is one of them Star Wars things, isn't it? But they put it on legs. Why would it need to be shaped like that if it's on legs? I don't know. This is a 1 mana 4/4. Exile the first artifact card from your graveyard, then this creature gets +1/+1. Terrible. Sammy, Ship's Engineer. Oh, and he has a little cat there too. End of... I hope the same thing doesn't happen to that cat that's happened to that cat in the Alien show this week. You wouldn't want that to happen. Have you seen the Alien show? It's all right, the Alien show. What's the Alien Earth. It's all right. There just aren't many aliens in it, that's the thing. At the end of your turn, if you attack with 2 or more creatures, create 2 robot tokens. Yeah, that's not good enough. Sammy! Oh, they're doing the thing again. We had it with that one before with Moth, didn't we? Yeah, we had 2 versions. They're both legendary. Yeah, these are both legendary. This is a thing that they're doing. I prefer it when they do it with transform cards, though. Isn't that? I always liked flip cards. Flip cards. That's right. In Kamigawa, yeah, but they were really ugly, so they turned those into transform cards. I would have preferred that if you had like the bad version of it, and then you did a thing, and then you flipped it into the good version of it. Mind you, I bet the good version of it isn't very good anyway. We like 6/6 double strike, even with vigilance. Actually, that all kind of plays into that a little bit, doesn't it? But we don't like 22 mana. At the beginning of your turn, reduce the cost of all cards in your hand by X. X is the number of artifact cards you can draw. It's just too expensive, isn't it? At 22 mana, it's just too expensive. That's really all I've got to say about that. Sammy's Curiosity. Gain 5 life, create a lander token. Rubbish. Scour for Scrap. How long have we been going? We're going about an hour. Shall we... let's have a look at Scouring Swarm there at the edge there. And maybe call it a night? How many cards have we done? How far have we got? I'm going to do a bit of maths. Because we probably ought to go a little bit longer. Well, where did we start? It was one of those Mechans, wasn't it? Mechan Navigator, 148. Oh, I've only done like 50 cards. Yeah, we should keep going for a bit. Scour for Scrap. But we'll just skip through some of the rubbish ones, like I suspect this is going to be. Return the first fetch the first artifact from your library, then return the first artifact card from your go to your hand. Garbage. Here's Scouring Swarm. 12 mana 1/1. Have we seen this? I think it was in a pack. When a support card and the elite pack that we looked at is destroyed or loses a reinforcement, reinforce this creature. Then if a land card was destroyed, reinforce this creature. Each of this supports. It rings a bell. Yeah, I'm sure I said it's all very well reinforcing a creature, but if that creature you're reinforcing is a 1/1, then we really don't give a shit. And it kills your own stuff. Yeah, I'm sure we've seen that before. It's pants. We move on. Scout for Survivors. Return up to the first 2 creature cards that cost 6 or less from your graveyard to play under your control, then all your creatures get +1/+1. I mean, we've had these before, and they never turn out to be any use, do they? How expensive is that rookie, that sharp-eyed rookie? Because I can't help but notice that the Pinnacle Emissary costs 6 mana, but then you don't care about that, do you? You don't want to put them into your graveyard and then put them into play with this. You're almost certainly better off just drawing a bunch of cards and just playing them from your hand. So even if there was a 2-card combo you'd play with this, this probably isn't how you'd get them into play. Outside of 2-card combos that I don't know if any exist anyway, yeah, we've had cards like this before, and they never turn out to be any use. So I suspect that's going to be the case this time. By all means, point out to me an awesome deck that it goes into, that it really works in. And I will happily admit that I'm wrong, because it's a case-based thing. Scrounge for Eternity. Create a lander token. That's not a good start. Then you may destroy target creature you control. If you do, return the first spacecraft support. I mean, pants. there are spacecrafts that do a thing when they come into play, but pants. Sorry. Seam Rip. Okay, here we go. Here is a removal for Colours of Magic. It's a bind one, but it's returning it into play. Okay, so exile an opposing creature or support card at random. That card gets the bind emblem. So it's a 1-for-1. It's no good for general usage. Colours of Magic usage potentially. But when it's destroyed, the bind emblem goes straight into play. And it only has 2 shields. And as such, we don't like it. You might find you need to play with something like this in your Colours of Magic deck. In which case, might I suggest you stop playing Colours of Magic fair and start playing it completely unfair with Quintorius Canned, like I do. Mainloop's made a video about it. Go and watch that. Learn how to play Quintorius Canned in Colours of Magic. He's really very good. At the beginning of your turn, says Secluded Starforge, convert 3 gems to your Planeswalker's colours. It's an expensive land. At the beginning of combat on your turn, your first creature gets +X/0. X is a number of artifact cards you control. At the end of your turn, create a robot token. There's a lot of things I like on here. Yeah, I like a land that creates creatures and generates some mana. And do you know what? I think I'm going to play with one as well. And the one that I'm going to play with is Swarmyard. Siege Ship Agrarian. At the end of your turn, create 2 lander tokens. I mean, that's a lot of lander tokens, isn't it? But the rest of the card is very underwhelming. So, what are lander? They have to be destroyed, don't they? Yeah. So bad. I don't know. I don't know where it goes in shit tier, but let me tell you this. It goes in shit tier. When this creature enters the battlefield, destroy the top 3 cards of your library. When this creature dies, return the first spacecraft or creature card from graveyard to battlefield under your control. It's absolute pants. So pants. Clive's proud of that. That was another one of those cards that Clive's very proud of designing, because it destroys some cards from the library, and then later on in the game, some of those cards that you've destroyed go back into play. So Clive's very proud of having designed that, but it's shit. Siege Ship Impact. Destroy a random non-token artifact or enchantment for 10 mana. If that card's base cost is 6 or less, create 2 lander tokens. Yeah, just generally not good enough. Let's just have some support destruction that is targeted now. Yeah, let's not feed it through fucking, what are they called? Those improved gems, crystallized gems. That's what they're called. Let's just have some cards that say destroy target artifact on them. And then you can do that, can't you? You can put some clauses on that say, if that card's cost is 6 or less, because you don't know when you cast this whether it's going to be or not. because it's random. And indeed, all support removal is always random, you know, except with crystallized gems, which are very uncommon, very rare to find because they're hidden away in Puzzle Masters, and also way too over-engineered. Let's just have some spells that say destroy target support on them. It's time. The game is 10 years old. It's time to do it. When this creature here enters a battlefield, you may destroy another target creature you control. Oh, I don't want to do that. Definitely not for just those rubbish effects. No. Destroy a random opposing creature or support, then surveil 1. Right, too expensive at 14 mana. Singularity Rupture. Destroy all creatures. Right, then destroy the top X cards of each player's library. X is the number of creatures destroyed in this way. Who wants to play this? Who does? I'm not sure who wants to play with it. Why do you want to put more creatures in the graveyard? And if you do want to put more creatures in the graveyard, why do you want to destroy all creatures? You know, there are certainly people who might want to put all creatures in the graveyard, not just Grist, but usually the reason to put them in the graveyard is to put them into play. And then why would you want to be destroying them at some later date? I feel like nobody's going to play this card as their sweep. You know, we've seen that 20 mana one earlier, haven't we, in this set that destroys the little creatures and controls the big creatures. We've got, in black, we've got Blasphemous Edict, which isn't particularly great, but people have been playing with it, that's got an exile. I feel like this is a wrath for nobody. You know, there are wraths around that aren't even good enough at the moment that are creating some creatures, creating some token creatures when you play them. I think that when you look at all of the different wraths you have to pick from, I think nobody's playing that one. That's what I think. Prove me wrong. Sinister Cryologist. When this creature enters the battlefield, the first opposing creature gets -3/-0. Not big enough. Again, you can do this kind of thing in paper. In fact, maybe you can't do this kind of thing in paper because, you know, you can't. I don't know how they do it in paper. Does it have tokens? How does it do it in paper? I don't know. However it does it in paper, it's awful, and we'll move on. Sky Stinger. When this creature becomes blocked, I mean, that's just a really weird choice, isn't it? Because, like, it blocks, but it doesn't trigger when it blocks. It only triggers when it becomes blocked. It's garbage anyway. Slag Drill Scrapper. Garbage. Sledge Class Siege Ship. I'm sure we're getting to the end of the night now. Yeah, here we go. Let's go on to Sathera the Super Void. I mean, that sounds like it's great, doesn't it? Look, he's got a big old black hole on it. Elon Musk has ruined these black holes for me. These they invented them for Interstellar, didn't they? Christopher Nolan said, "What does a black hole really look like?" And they came up with this kind of design with all the cool stuff whizzing around them, and they look great. And then Elon Musk decided to use it as the symbol for grok, and so he's kind of killed it. But there you go. When this support enters the board, fetch the first creature card from your library, but then don't do anything with it. So this is obviously garbage. Station 3 is lower than Station 4, but 2 higher than Station 1, if you get my meaning. When this creature attacks, the first creature card in... Oh, Clive's doing his thing again here. He's going, yeah, you know. Because look, he's built some synergy between the two hearts. He's built some synergy between the low power thing that happens immediately when you put it into play, yeah, and then the slightly higher powered thing. When this creature attacks, the first creature in your hand that can gain mana gains half its mana. That doesn't happen for fucking ever because it's Station 3. So, bad. We move on. And I think this is the last one for the night. Come on, let's have a good one. Sathera the Super Void. 18 mana. 5 shields. When a creature you control dies... Oh, this doesn't sound good. Exile the first opposing creature. When this support is destroyed, move the first creature with greatest power that is 11 or less. Ew! From your opponent's exile into play under your control. That's the killer, isn't it? That is the killer, because it's gonna skip through all of the Galters and Rakdoses in your opponent's exile and just pull out a Crowl Whipcracker and put that into play. There are ways to have a creature die every turn. Can't think of a really good one, because that Urabrask Forge has just rotated out, hasn't it? And do you know what? I never played with that anyway. It was all right. It was all right in Colours of Magic. It was all right the rest of the time. Can't think of a good way to have a creature die every turn now. And by good, I mean good. I don't just mean a card that does it. But yeah, it kind of does sod all on its own. You know, because you've got to have this and have creatures and have them die. And then when it finally gets around to being destroyed, which isn't going to happen because it's got 5 shields, unless you want to blow this up as well, then you get a creature that's too small. That's quite bad, isn't it? And yes, I'll grant you it gets +4/+4. That does not move the dial. That is not a good card. I'm sorry. Right, I think we've reached a natural stopping point for tonight. By my maths, we've done about 70 cards tonight. That gives us about 70 cards to do on the next one. So, thank you all for being in. Have we had people in? Yeah, hello, Hunter. People. Jolly. Oh, Hunter. Yeah, Hunter always likes to come in. Hello, Hunter. We've had some people in. That's good. And part 5? Yeah, this was part 4. Part 5 will be, unsurprisingly, Monday or Tuesday next week. So we didn't really find anything tonight, did we? Did we find anything tonight? No. We kind of found something. We found Planetary Annihilation, which I was fighting with myself to like, but didn't quite. But it is good. But yeah, not much else. Poo. We found poo tonight. That's what we found tonight. Thanks for being in. Come join us next week, and when we will get up to part 5, and probably finish it off. And I will bid you adieu. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.